Today, we are going to discuss a book that will teach you how you can use your brain to become a mastermind, just like Sherlock Holmes. If you are not familiar with the name Sherlock Holmes, then let me tell you that Sherlock Holmes is one of the most famous fictional detectives in the world. Sir Arthur Doyle created him in his stories, and even today, people are as fascinated about him as they were before. Sherlock Holmes is known for his exceptional cognitive skills, key observation, and deducing powers. He notices small details that ordinary people do not pay attention to, and he builds his theories from them, which are always correct. So, have you ever thought that you can think like Sherlock Holmes? In today's video, I will tell you how you can use these techniques in your daily life to enhance your problem-solving and decision-making skills. You must have seen that we all have to take many kinds of decisions in life, and we have to face many problems every day. But what if you can find a solution to every problem like Sherlock Holmes? Or you can take any difficult decision easily. It is possible that you just have to train your brain in the same way as Sherlock Holmes did. Before knowing those techniques, we are going to know a story of Sherlock Holmes so that we can understand what kind of detective Sherlock Holmes is. London's cold and foggy nights were always full of mystery and danger. But this time, the incident that happened in front of Sherlock Holmes was not only strange, but also horrific. This is the story of the mystery of the Red Skull, which had put London in terror. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson were enjoying a peaceful evening at home, when a loud knock on the door suddenly came. The door opened and a frightened woman came in. Fear was clearly visible in her eyes. She gave her introduction. Her name was Mrs. Elizabeth Martin, who was the wife of a big businessman in the city. "Mr. Holmes," she said in a shuddering voice, "someone has killed my husband, and a red skull mark has been left near his body. The police have failed to solve this, and now I need your help." Holmes calmed Mrs. Martin and took complete information about the case. Mr. Martin's body was found in his office, and a skull mark was made near the body in red. This red skull was also connected to the other murders happening in London. Holmes immediately started the investigation. He went to Martin's office with Watson. Seeing the situation there, Holmes had a strange feeling. Everything seemed normal in the room, but one thing caught Holmes's attention. It was a red skull mark, which was probably made of blood. Holmes immediately inspected the mark with his special magnifying glass. The marks did not seem to be made by an ordinary person. He saw that the lines of the mark were absolutely clear, as if someone had made it after a lot of thought. "Watson," Holmes said, "this is not a case of an ordinary criminal. This is the mark of a person who is an expert in his work, and we have to take it very seriously." As Holmes investigated the case, he found that this red skull mark was not only found in Mr. Martin's office, but was also found in other parts of London. What could this mark mean? Holmes thought deeply and understood that this is not a normal crime, but there is a big mystery behind it. He found that the places where these marks were found, they were all somehow connected to a secret organization which was called the Red Skull. This organization was targeting the rich people of London and putting pressure on them to fulfill their demands. Holmes went ahead with his investigation and soon found out that this organization was a secret union of some big businessmen and leaders in London who used to leave a red skull mark to scare their opponents. But Martin's murder surprised Holmes. After all, he was also part of this union. Then why did he kill him? Holmes understood from his logic that Martin had tried to go against this union, and that's why he was killed. He made a plan with Watson on how to expose this organization. Holmes told Mrs. Martin to invite all the businessmen to his husband's funeral. He had woven the whole matter like a web. During the funeral, Holmes saw that some businessmen were worried. He also included the police in this matter. As soon as the funeral was over, Holmes came in front of everyone in his own way and said, "Mr. Martin's murder was a conspiracy, and all of you are involved in this conspiracy." All the businessmen were surprised. Holmes presented strong evidence against those people, which he had collected during the investigation. You people thought that you would succeed in your plans by spreading terror in this city, but you forgot that nothing can be hidden from Sherlock Holmes in the world of crime. Ultimately, the Red Skull organization was destroyed and all the culprits were arrested. London was saved from a big threat, and Holmes solved another complex case and got his skills back. Dr. Watson wrote this case in his diary, and this story added another shining chapter to Holmes's career. This was just another case for Holmes, but his intelligence and logic once again proved that no mystery in the world is beyond his reasonable mind. Whenever Sherlock Holmes solves a case, his greatest strength is his observation and attention to detail. Sherlock not only observes what is in front of him, but he also observes what is hidden from the eyes of a normal person. This makes him different from others. Holmes says that you see but do not observe. This statement means that we often see things from above and do not pay close attention to them, while Sherlock pays attention to every little detail, no matter how insignificant it may seem. This is the reason why he is so successful in solving any case. Like Sherlock Holmes, you can also improve your observation and attention to detail. Here are some practical tips. First, whenever you see a situation or thing, observe it thoroughly. Pay attention to its color, texture, size, and the things around it. For example, when you enter a room, pay close attention to the layout and placement of things in the room. Second, when you are talking to someone, instead of just listening to them, pay attention to their body language, facial expressions, and way of speaking. This will help you better understand the situation and emotions in their mind. Third tip, play games that increase the capacity of your memory and attention to focus. For example, go into a room and observe things, and then go out of the room and write as much as you remember. This will improve your memory and observation skills. Fourth tip, try to identify small details in everyday things. Like while reading an article, observe grammar mistakes or small inconsistencies. To understand Sherlock Holmes' power of observation and attention to detail, let's look at an example. Once Dr. Watson and Sherlock Holmes were sitting in their room. Sherlock asked Watson, "How many times have you seen these stairs?" Watson replied, "Hundreds of times." Sherlock asked again, "So tell me, how many stairs are these?" Watson did not know this, while Sherlock replied, "There are 17 stairs in these, because I have seen and observed." This example shows that Sherlock does not just see, but observes everything and puts it in his mind. This is why he is able to understand things better than others. So observation and attention to detail can not only make a big difference in your professional life, but also in your personal life. Like Sherlock Holmes, if we also develop our observation and attention skills, then we can see things from a new perspective and improve our problem-solving skills. Always remember, you see but do not observe. This small difference can help solve the biggest of mysteries. To explain Sherlock Holmes' mind, Maria Konnikova has given a very accurate and interesting metaphor, brain attic, which means brain storeroom. With this metaphor, she has tried to show that our mind is like an Atari or attic in which we store our memories and information. But just like it gets disorganized by storing unnecessary items in an attic, similarly, our mind can also get disorganized if we store useless information in it. According to Holmes, our mind is an attic with limited space. Therefore, the same information should be stored in it, which is actually important and useful. Sherlock organizes his thoughts and memories in this attic so that whenever he needs any special information, he can find it immediately. In reality, our mind also comes with limited resources and capacity. If we fill it with useless information, then we cannot store important information. Therefore, we should decide which information should be stored in the brain's attic and which should be left behind. One of the key principles of Sherlock Holmes is that the same information should be stored in the brain, which is actually important in our life. This is the principle of selective memory. When we get rid of useless information, then only that information remains in our brain, which is useful for us. Whenever we have to solve a problem, then this important information of our brain becomes available to us immediately. In this way, our process of thinking and making decisions is fast and accurate. For example, if you need to remember various mathematical formulas, then you should concentrate on those sources which are useful according to your daily needs. Useless information only occupies space in your brain's attic and makes it difficult to access important information. Just as any attic is cleaned and systematized from time to time, similarly, our brain's attic also needs regular maintenance to ensure that only that information is in our brain, which is actually useful and relevant. We should regularly remove useless information. Sherlock Holmes believes that when we keep only important information in our brain's attic, then it provides us the facility to easily find and use important information at any time. Along with this, we should refresh our memories and knowledge from time to time so that we can ensure that we never forget important information. For example, whatever you have learned, it is important to repeat it from time to time and read it again. This way, that information will remain safe in your brain for a long time, and when you need it, you will be able to recall it easily. Sherlock Holmes is often seen as a logical and fact-based individual, but a big part of his success lies in his imagination and creativity. Whenever he faces a problem, he is not only dependent on available facts, but he uses his imagination to imagine different possibilities and situations. This is what separates him from other people. Holmes's ability, his imagination, gives him the power to see any problem from a new perspective. If he was only dependent on facts, he would have failed in many cases. But with the use of imagination, he thinks in every potential direction, which helps him find the solution to the problem. When we face a problem, we often follow the same paths that we already know. But like Sherlock Holmes, if we use our thoughts in a new way, we can reach the solutions that are beyond normal thinking. Creativity means that you can see a problem from a different perspective and find a solution to it in a new, unique way. Sherlock often looks at the aspects that other people ignore. He is able to do this because he uses his imagination to understand different aspects of possibilities. For example, if he is in a crime scene, he does not only look at the order of the events, but also thinks about what would have happened if things were different. This creative thinking often takes him in the right direction. Another important technique of Sherlock Holmes is the visualization of scenarios. Whenever he faces a problem, he imagines different possible outcomes in his mind. This helps him understand which path is most suitable and which result can take him to his goal. Visualization means that you already have an imagination of different outcomes, and then think about which result can be the best for you. This process also makes you aware of potential risks and challenges. For example, if you imagine the result of a decision, you can already understand the positive and negative aspects of that decision, which allows you to make a better decision. Holmes visualizes different events in his mind and then analyzes those scenarios to reach the right conclusion. This not only saves him from mistakes, but also guides him in the right direction. If you also want to develop your creativity and visualization skills like Sherlock Holmes, then there are some tips. Never adopt just one way to solve a problem. Think from different viewpoints and think about new ideas. Mind mapping is a way by which you can make your thinking systematic and create new thoughts. It helps you see and compare different options. Regularly practice meditation and visualization. It will calm your mind and increase your imagination. Whenever you face a problem, ask yourself, what would have happened if this had happened? What would have been the result if I had taken this decision? These questions lead your mind to new thoughts. Lesson 4. Emotional control. Whenever he examines an issue, he puts his emotions aside and completely concentrates on logic and objectivity. This emotional detachment helps him think clearly and fairly, which helps him reach the right conclusion without any personal bias. Emotions have a profound effect on our decision-making process. When we face a problem, our emotions like fear, anger, or excitement can stop our logical thinking. Holmes teaches us that if we learn to control our emotions, we can be better prepared to face any challenge. This emotional control helps us keep our thoughts clear and purposeful. Sherlock Holmes's approach is inspired by Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to be calm and logical in the face of challenges. According to the principles of Stoicism, we should concentrate on things that we can control and should not waste time and energy on things that we cannot change. This approach keeps Holmes calm and logical in the face of any problem. So friends, this was our book summary for today. If you like this video, then like it, share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to the Audio Powerhouse channel. We bring you such inspiring and interesting book summaries. If your opinion is very important to us, then tell us in the comments section how you like this video. See you in the next video with another great book summary. Until then, stay calm, stay happy, and keep learning. Thank you for listening to our book summary till the end. Meet again with next amazing audiobook. Please subscribe.